Okay. Hello, everyone. Today's episode is just okay. I'm doing a book review on a very interesting book. I don't know who wrote this book, but this is the cover. Do you know? Oh wait. Oh my God! It's me. I wrote this. So, guys, I want to give you an idea what this book is. You can find it on the YouTube page, and in the links on the side. I don't know how much time I have in this place I am to make this talk without an interruption, but let's do it. So, in 2012, I get some kind of vision, some kind of intelligent experience beyond my framework of really what intelligence means, So that means some nonlinear experiences happen, and eventually I come and write this book. The book kind of writes itself, so I would just get a feeling to pick up the pen and I would just go and I would write, yeah. And so the attention in the moment that is on the being, so let's say right now, there's an attention on you. So let's say, God, it's getting too hot. I can't. Okay. So let's say right now you're an ant and a human being is looking at you. That has an influence on the attention that the ant has. The ant feels that ray of attention where our intelligence focuses on it. So similarly for human beings, there is a focus of attention on them, but not from, I don't want to say like from another dimension or from some other thing. The attention is like... just like when you look at a tree and the tree remains there, those moments where you are not conscious, there is a conscious attention of a being that is keeping you. And this being is, I don't want to give it names, it's not even a being like an individual being, it's just the intelligence of your moment that is happening spontaneously and collectively. So pretty much the book has the title, The Great Work, and the great work, that sentence has a very profound meaning for me because I looked at different human beings and I saw different ways we're living, and so I wondered what is the great work, And so the great work, one sentence that came in this book is, from the one sentence that came from this book is that your work works with you, and so many people are trying to look for work, trying to do things rather than realizing what is already being done, which is their life intelligence, let us say. It gets unspeakable after some point because usually what we can speak about, we have individualized and we can compare, So we say like we are an individual in a world, then we can go anywhere in the world we want. But, if we realize we are the world and the individual, that means there is no individual only to the self that has conceived that in that range of consciousness. So your work works with you, and the whole point of this book was my just intuitive attempt. I was very preferenceless. I didn't even consider myself writing and all this stuff. But I didn't even go after it, just like, just one day I got a feeling and I picked up the pen, And so the focus of this is understanding collective forms of conscious universal integration. So pretty much the idea goes around the recognition that we as a species, as a civilization, will get so conscious at some point that we will comprehend, how would I say it, that the integrative process within nature is it's not done by your ideology. So you got to recognize that we have the left side of the brain, the right side of the brain, and so now I guess I could get into a bit more details of the book. Just a quick note to add to anyone who's going to read this book. Guys, I didn't put that much effort in editing. So I just, like, whatever came down on paper, I was like, go in public. So I've kind of kept it as untouched as possible. Anyways, check out the book. I'll give you a few seconds to read the back while I read the front, This is the best promotion. I don't think many people do this who do they're all book reviews. I don't know how long I should hold it, but I think I'm going to do it like 10 more seconds. Okay, I think that's enough. So, you're gonna go read the book. It's just what I wrote in 2012, just spontaneously. I just didn't want to change it that much. I thought some readers might appreciate just the untouched quality of the work. That means I just whatever I came, I put it out there. Anyways, so I'm gonna not dive deep into explaining this. One day there will come that day where I will probably explain what this is. But right now, I'm going to show you a certain thing that's in this book that is communicated, and I'm going to take it out of the context of this book so we can appreciate the value of it. The value of it's like not that you're reading the concept from here, but you just see the concept and it becomes very clear. So there is. Let's begin with the content. Okay, there we go. So we have. So what I want to talk about is geometry. Yeah. So if you notice in the beginning of the book, there is a circle. Many people don't consider that. There's a circle. There's a triangle in it. Then there's a cellular circle, and then there's infinity. That means this relationship of a triangle circle infinitely goes in, right? It is infinitely present. Let us say within the indefinite. So right now, okay. Let me see how. Okay. In the great work, this I didn't explain much of this, but pretty much the whole book is like this omniscient sector of space communicating to me through the reflection of all the concepts I have, like alphabets in my mind. So think of it this way: the human being is born, the human being goes through many experiences. Think of how many experiences you've been through. Now think of every image, everything you have experienced so far through any sense of sensory perception. It is within your mind. Yeah, it is like an alphabet of all the experiences you have. Instead of the letters, it's all the experiences you have. So, to some degree, consciousness that is not localized to a body, it's not in like the body, the universe that encloses things into a space, into a body, into a physicality. It's like it does not apply to them. They are pretty much the observer rather than the observed. The observed is stuck in the karma. The observer is the witness beyond the karma. So. So this intelligence that I use the word astra, and if you look closely, it's the name is very nice. It's a star. So I'm gonna draw the craziest thing for you. I'll be back. Okay. All right. I hope this is clear. I recorded this once. I drew everything once, but I wasn't recorded, so I'm gonna just dive into it very quickly. The great work brings up this idea that we have the left side of the brain, the right side of the brain, and so for the left side, we're acknowledging it through the triangle first, and then the circle. And through the right side of the brain, it acknowledges the circle first. The circle stands for nature, yes, and the triangle, let us say, stands for reality and the individual within the reality. And pretty much you're wondering about your individuality. So the left side of your brain sees you separate first, and then wonders about unity, and the right side of your brain sees unity first and then dives into the separation. And mainly the rights of the brain, the right side, because you're seeing unity, you're not analyzing everything. So if you have emotional intelligence is very present here. Let's say emotional and intellectual. Now, so the idea of what this book brings is by saying that we can use these geometric relationships, and in different ways of their relativity to our own experience, we can, to some degree, become conscious of states of being that are not bound to the limitation of a separate ignorance. So, what is the point of this to some degree? I'll tell you. So my experiences while writing this book, even though I was spontaneously writing it, but it's not that I just receive words spontaneously. I also sometimes when I am completely still, I become the movement of my mind. I don't move in my mind, but I witness some form of, let us say, abstract projection, some kind of phenomena, and this phenomena, to some degree, is the focal point of my consciousness becomes it. Do you see? So whatever your attention is on, it's not just influencing you, but it is also being you. Do you know? So let's say your attention is on a TV. You go to the movies, you see something, sad scene. You're crying So what can we do with this, right? So it's kind of people who read this book, you have to kind of extract out the conclusions, some of these conclusions I'm saying, and so. Anyways, what's going to happen is that when you realize this relationship, you're going to realize something interesting. If this is the right side, if this is the left side, we can see that we can infinitely, like a fractal, even though I didn't know, only in the last chapter of the book I learned what the word fractal meant. Before that, I was just So do you see this? It is constantly going in, right? So let's get a better view here. Yeah. So we are, to some degree, you see this relationship? So this is kind of saying as if your consciousness is oscillating between, let us say, a circular view of the world and an inverted triangular view. The reason I use the inverted triangle is because it has such profound meaning in my own experience. Especially I've had some dreams where just in the dream I was looking at very hard to explain with words of this state of consciousness. This, let us say, pretty much in space, I witnessed like this huge wall, and the huge wall, there's an inverted triangular cave, like this deep cave. Like imagine like a huge wall. Let's say the wall of some dam, some big wall, and then this big wall, even though it's not in bricks, this big wall that was in space in this dream I had in 2012. The inverted triangle, there was this cave-like inverted triangle, and in the dream there was an innate knowing within me that there was a restriction to enter. Later, and some other things happen. Word is introduced to me that catalyzes me, and I say this word. I have an astral projection, not an astral. I mean, we say that, but I have some kind of very profound experience of it, and pretty much I kind of open my eyes in the morning, and I have a totally new experience because new things have happened to me, especially in that dream state, which I consciously maintain, very consciously maintain. It's like it wasn't even a dream; it was as clear as reality, even though I was dreaming. So, anyways, you see this relationship. We see that I want you to imagine this is infinitely going in, infinitely going out. Now, what do we notice? Do you see this? Do you see that line I drew? So, in any point of your existence, you can, again, put your attention into the micro, and when you do it, you begin to see like a fractal echo of the conscious experience of unity and duality to some degree. So this picture is very important because when you see that this is infinite, so what does that say about the different sides of the mind? It says that we think we have a brain that, left side is like this, right side like this, we put it under some machines and it lights up in a certain way, but The attention. Had a small interruption. I'm going to get back. Anyways, so we see your conscious attention can function, fluctuate, and to some degree alter in the states of the experience that, let's say, it is creating for you in the moment. So what one realizes is that when they comprehend duality that is encompassing unity, and they comprehend unity that is encompassing duality, they see that any view we have on, let's say, intellect or emotion, there is an infinite mutual dependence of dimensions. So let's say, we see all those colors going into that prism of that, Pink Floyd album cover, and they come out as one light. Do you see that? So there is a oneness of intelligence which expresses itself in a multidimensional, multi-present in a multidimensional, plethora of ways, if I can say that. So this is very important because I am drawing this right now. At some point, those advanced communicators or those people who are interested in this content I've written about, you're going to see that once you are comfortable to perceive this, not in the way I have drawn it, not the way the book is, but in your own imagination, you're comfortable with moving geometry, you're going to see at first you need to think about it. At first, you probably need, you think probably you need someone to teach it to you, but then you recognize that the ability and the capacity of just the intelligence that is, we are saying it is a mind. We're not just bodies here. So even though you're looking at me, you're seeing this, can you see my mind? My communication may reflect it, but the actual presence of the mind is beyond any comprehension of the personality. So, for me personally, sometimes when I walk outside, if I choose to, normally it's like a certain attention that allows a certain energy to be expressed in your experience, and it's all intuitively done. I don't want to make this seem like you need an instruction book for this, The main focus is nature. Once you realize the integrative unity within nature and how it encompasses these 3 points, and something I should have probably mentioned earlier, do you see? Okay. So this triangle, yeah. So the circle stands for nature. This triangle stands for individuality. But the way the book communicates it is that there is a me, there is an other, and there is a God. And so this God is, what I mean by this is that all that is. I'm not pointing to some specific image. I'm just saying that when in life, really, like if you're a person, you look at this life, what do you see? You see me, there's you, the first reference point. Then there's others. So there's all the people, there's you, dear listener, there's you. So, there's others, and then we see all of it. There is, so we are in a world, there are others in a world, and there's a world. But recognize this is to some degree an external focus. So we can say even that the triangle is more external focus, and the circle is internal. So whenever we are going within, we are to some degree unifying the dualities that are to some degree ruling our lives based on how fixed we have accepted such a belief. Anyways, this is a circle. I don't know if it's clear. Okay. Something I think no one's ever done is that I'm going to draw. No, I can't. I wanted to draw this reflection of the light. It's too hard. Anyways, left side, right side. I hope this is clear by far. So this geometric relationship will also become present in your subtler planes when you develop a trust of recognizing its fractal infinite quality. So when, do you have any, let's say right now I told you you can get an infinite, money, right? So the concept of infinite is very nice, and people are comfortable with it because it's so much that they don't need to worry about the measurement of it. So sometimes your state of consciousness goes into a state where it might, I've had moments where my mind's overwhelmed me with such complexity of geometry, and it was so simple. I wasn't doing anything. Like I was sitting in the park, and just everything in the park, to some degree, found this geometric quality. Then the whole geometry began, to some degree, shifting and changing based on how my attention is. So the most important thing of this is realize that what is the point? That it's all within one point. You recognize all of existence and all the multidimensionality is happening in one point, because there are no degrees. There's no external degrees. It's like a part of your intelligence has never changed. A part of you, it's changed so much, So I'm going to kind of see if I can, to some degree, suggest what I mean by this movement of geometric relationship in your cellular planes, in your imagination, in your nation of unknown images. Okay. So let me see, how can I explain this? We have a guy, some guy. This guy is going throughout the environment, throughout the day, yeah. Let's say, okay, here, let's make a road. This is the road. This guy is in point, let us say A, yeah. He wants to walk to maybe like 100 meters to, let us say, point B. So what I'm trying to say here is that this person, we can say, is a bubble of conscious awareness. Do you know? So this person right here, this is not the sun or the moon. It's like this guy wants to walk, let's say 100 meters in front of him. So what I'm telling you is that with these geometric relationships intuitively opening to you, not in the sense of some external kind of agenda of instruction or happening. It's like there's nothing to teach here. You're just happening, and you can consciously view things and go with the flow, without feeling like a dead fish. So what I'm saying here is that this person that happened to me, there was a place, I was walking across the street. Then this geometric ability. So I'm a human being who I've, to the amount of experience I've had, observed how my consciousness is not my body and is my body simultaneously. And that revelation has led me to a point where I don't judge what happens. I actually very, very selflessly, when I'm just in the moment, without wanting to do anything or imposition of thought, everything happens. Everything happens just naturally. So what I'm saying here is that I was just walking. I suddenly, in my cellular planes, in my abstraction, visualization, whatever you want to call it, I just, it was crazy, but I saw from within my sight, literally, like so many triangles, and like every point of the triangle, I don't know how I can, it's probably not good. Like, okay, let's try it like this at least. Like my consciousness, my conscious attention, geometrically moved. So imagine this attention that is in your moment right now. This attention right now, you're looking at this video. You see how this attention of yours is looking at this video? So I was walking, and this attention of mine, it extended through the geometric abstraction that I imposed in the objective environment, and my literally, like the points of the last triangle that went to that 100-meter destination were my eyes. Literally, no, not these eyes. They were sight. They were conscious sight. So the ability of geometry is very profound. Geometry is the next great language of all languages. It is to some degree how we play with space as intelligent emptiness. So pretty much the suggestion of this is that, let's say you're going to work, someone comes up, that person says things to you. You can see in certain outer states of consciousness, what people say, the sounds they make can literally, just instantaneously based on how your attention is, to be geometry. So there have been many moments, guys, I've listened to geometry. Literally someone has been talking, and in my cellular planes, I'm just seeing like as if every word they're saying is contributing to this great blueprint of visualization I have in my cellular planes. And so the focus of this is that at first you are the body, then you realize you're beyond the body. Yeah. Then you realize you are, let's say, your speech or imagination, or to some degree some form of abstract movement. And so you then realize you're not that. You move beyond that, and then you move beyond what you think is the mind. Because the seeker is seeking something that is not here yet. So everything that comes in is experienced like just raw, chaotic. The seeker's like, no, I'm seeking more, and spirituality is nothing that can be enforced. Those people who are trying to force spiritual awakening, it doesn't happen like that. It is like a flower growing when it is conscious enough, sprouting when it's conscious enough, when it has been in the light of existence to such a degree that how would I say it? It from that one individual stem, it blooms into multidimensionality. So there's a very interesting possibility here for human beings now on this planet to not just be so obsessed about the rationality of intellect, but to recognize that we are functioning in, let us say, at least two states of being: duality, unity. And so there are some moments where you feel you are the world, and there are some moments where you see, how would I say it? You are in the world. Do you see this? Do you see this variation? Because it has an influence on our psychology. When I looked at the educational system and I looked at the different fields of knowledge we have, I didn't see different fields of knowledge. I didn't see something that I could study. I saw every course, every topic as a student in a school of conceptualization that is wanting to come with a new thing. So the educational system, I guess we're talking about it, and the great work, let's say the great work of the educational system is to some degree appreciate people's diversity, stop forcing conformity, and to recognize that history is kept by language, and every child being born is a new consciousness that is opening up to the language in a new way. We have never had good or bad beings on this plane. We've just had very unique design of every being. So this geometric relationship has a value in just how it can happen for you. Some people see number synchronicities. Think of it, after some point you're going to see geometric synchronicities. After you see these geometric synchronicities, let's say you see some divine occurrence, miracle, something coincidence, something happens to you. Yeah, some experience. What is not valuable is not per se the content of the experience, but where the experience took you as a journey. Anyways, one thing I want to do is let's keep this. And just very quickly to finish this, I thought, it's a book review, yeah. So I'm just going to open a random page and read it. The great work. Page 57, random part in the middle. Now it is very fundamental that as we loosen our reference points and we get rid of them, and we are able to perceive many reference points, we are in essence allowing ourselves to work with senses and with spaces of self that are much vaster in bringing something. And so you might feel that the person you are now can't do something, but the person you'll be can. Well, it's all here. It's all a sense of space, and you must always consider nature. And so the nature is very important to be considered through the heart. Your heart is a great source of knowing. Your heart is a great source of knowing, as it's a mechanism which is one of the basic factors that is keeping you alive. And so it is also a point which is allowing yourself to be a certain existence with a certain reference point and being a certain dot that can perceive itself infinitely. Your attention to any point of existence that you refer to some degree suggests your next step. Be very mindful. Right now you're hearing my words. These words are to some degree coagulating with all the words you've ever seen in your life. And so okay, another subtle interruption, guys. I'm going to get back to it. So everything is your intelligence. And when I say your intelligence, I'm a person saying that. So does that mean everything in the world is my intelligence? Not the intelligence of my personality that is so chained in the past and desperate for the future that it is ignoring the presence of everything now. It's like after some point you just look at this world and you recognize all the good and bad stuff that's happening is meaningful to how your eyes have opened. So after some point, a person may begin to witness their world in a way where it's, as the Vedic seer said, to be in the world but not of it. You're going to be present in an eternal knowing, instantaneous knowing, but this eternal instantaneous knowing is in every moment expressing into infinite dimensions. It seems that it's like the whole cosmos is this multidimensional engine of this one being, this one point of being that is the same infinite point that is here and that is here. So this is all the point to it. Do you see that? That light. Okay, there we go. So this is geometry, guys. This book I wrote, it's about geometry, but it's kind of written in like a streamed, kind of channeled, like kind of a way. So it's as if like it's not me saying talking to you in this book. It is the omniscience of space through my reflection of individuality expressing itself as this. And there's of course so much deeper. There's a deep story to how just all of this began, but it's not something I could say it now, in this talk. I will probably make, efforts to explain it in the future in different talks, but the biggest thing I can tell you is that if you don't even read the book, at least just think about the title and wonder about what is the great work of your existential expression and your experiential moment of being. There's this on the last pages of this book. There is a quote which is communicated by Astra, this intelligence, this omnipresent intelligence, expressed in my reflection. It says, it's very interesting, so I want to end off here, end off with this. Just caught a marker in the air. Yeah. Consciousness, guys. May you be the love that one day welcomes asteroids into this life, just like Joy's children. may we see a mankind, a humanity, and our civilization become so able in being aware of its presence, both through the known and unknown, that any object we look at, we are the soul of that body in some way. You know, may you be the love that one day welcomes asteroids into this life, like Joyce's children, just like Joyce's children. I want to show you some geometric designs I've put in this book. I think it's interesting. So, these are all to some degree explained, you know. By the way, this is not written like a normal book. It's pretty much like documented transcriptions of my, you know, altered states of communication. Oh, I like this one. Perhaps this book is the first attempt, you know, one attempt of a human being to show the world a geometrical system of self-realization this part's suggesting about future lives, past lives, and how that falls into this relationship. Anyways, guys, check it out, and let's make a nice ending here. Let's make a cool ending.